Hey, what's up there, people? It's your man Twims. I have decided to start my journey on a 365-day adventure in Stranded Deep. I am on, I believe, day 8 or day 10. Um, just for, you know, more information, uh, the cartographer area is a great thing if you want to make sure you have supplies. You go into cartographer. Every time I sign on, I make one new island. Um, I have islands specifically for home bases, and others are just for basic supplies. I don't name them. I just keep them in a basic order. But every time I sign on, I make one new island to replace the islands around. Now, my home islands, I have here, 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 here. Well, there's going to be a home island here, and here. So just keeping within this area, designating home islands or home bases where you basically have your have a tent set up. You can cover all of the map easily if you put your islands in strategic areas. Islands A, B, C, E, G are all supply islands. Now, okay, every time I sign in, I make a new island. Size of your island, just for supply reasons, you want to have large. You come down here. Well, you could actually make your islands however you want. Actually, change shape. Anytime you hit the X button, it'll change the shape of your button or of your island now. I usually try to find a shape that's kind of more roundish. With a nice bulk in the middle. You want to make sure you turn that off before you hit any other buttons. Items that you can find on the islands. You always want to make sure on your islands you stock them with rocks, sticks, cloth. If you want to use planks, you can add planks. I like to use a corrugated scrap. Trees. You want trees and you want your small palm trees for your fibers. Clay deposits. You'll want to add clay deposits. Usually you can get by with what stones you have on the islands, but you can always add a stone deposit. Animals. You need animals for leather. The only real useful animals there are the hogs. Unless, of course, you want to add the crabs and stuff like that, and the snakes and all that. Shipwrecks. Shipwrecks you want to definitely have. That's where you get a lot of your, well, offshore supplies from. Then you want to save it. Go to your world editor. Add your island. Apply your island by hitting square if you're on PlayStation. Now you have your island. Next one will be another home island. I don't put ships around my home islands, just so I could always tell where they are. Always try to leave like a perspective on your islands that you will know. Like out of all the islands, let the one home island that if you're new at this, you're always going to have one basic island. Make sure you can somehow mark that island to know it when you see it. So like, if you're not using a compass or something like that, you can, as soon as you see it, that's where your home base is, and that's where you are on the map. There is no map when you play this game. You'll see. Alrighty, let's go in. Right now, I'm in the process of getting myself a hatchet. Your items will break over time throughout use, and I actually have no stones on this island. Okay, so what we will have to do is my last file I had a really nice boat built, and I don't know how, but somehow I lost my boat. I signed on the next day, and my boat was not there anymore. One thing I will tell you, always, when you build your boats, we'll get him going so we don't get caught. Make sure you have an anchor. Once you get your boat built, it don't have to be as a big boat. As long as you can have it steady on the water. Well, I mean, you can build it out of wood. I usually wait until I get the buoy balls, but that's going to help speed your journeys up massively. In the settings, you can turn off or change the settings on the wildlife here. Me, I have massive phobias of open water. Um, you guys might laugh at me, but when I play it with when the animals are more realistic, we're like, because there's sharks and stuff like that in this game, obviously. Uh, yeah, it really sets off anxieties in me. I tried play, I tried play. If it was on land, I don't think I'd have a problem. I've played things like Tomb Raider. I've gotten attacked by tigers and stuff like that. It doesn't, no big deal. But the thing with the water and stuff, yeah, that really set off my anxiety. I've always had this fear of actually I am not going to risk losing this, so I'm just going to run it right into the shore. Alrighty. On the search for stones. I've been picking on this. I go island from island, and I will completely pick through an island before I go to the next one. It's part of a obsessive compulsive disorder with me. Same thing in real life, though. I mean, it's like yeah, I don't. If you guys have any kind of things like this, you understand. But all right, I'll have to check my gear. Hopefully, I have. Awesome. All right. Rocks you need for pretty much any kind of tool you need to create. So the only real advice I could always tell you is make sure you have a stock of rocks somehow, some way, along with these palm trees. Keep an eye on your health. You can starve, you can dehydrate. Now I can continue with deforesting. Also, one thing I will tell you that is very handy is making yourself a work belt. It saves space in your inventory because you're not carrying it, any of your tools. Right now I can hold 4 items. Those are the basic items that you really need. Because if you try to build anything without a hammer, well, you just can't build anything without a hammer. You know, like anything serious. But construction, you need a hammer. For mining anything, like if you find a rock deposit, you'll need a pick. Cutting down trees, the axe. You can survive off of fish. You don't get sick and tired of eating it, so you always need your knife and able to fillet fish. And after a while, your harvesting actually levels up, so it's not that hard to collect things at a quick pace. As long as you don't forget where your base is. I'm getting all these ready for transport back over to my main base. There are certain things that I still am learning about this game, even though I've played it for a while. I just continually keep starting new files, but the fact that you can actually form piles or stacks. I'll show you how you do that when I get these back. Alrighty. Now, enabled to form piles. Grab what other your log, hold down R1 for your quick craft, hold up on trunk pile, select, hit X, then you can open it up and then you can put all your main pieces into stacks. Some things it does not work for. Sometimes it gets a little bit tedious, but in the long run it kind of pays off. You have all your supplies in one spot. Especially when you're starting to do like some massive building or massive construction back at your home base. I still have yet to come back here and actually start. The next thing after this I have to work on is getting my my furnace and my brick station going. But I actually have to, after I start get done with the trees, I will be starting collecting clay. This is why I say, well, I'm going to say on all of your islands, try to make sure you have clay deposits. I am not gonna lie to you, it's a pain in the neck a lot of times because it's a lot of swimming, a lot of breath holding. As you go through your ships, you will find air tanks. I would suggest when you go for doing your clay that you take at least, I'd say 2 air canisters with you. just for your trips to and from the surface. When I start it, I'm sure you'll understand why. Sometimes when you're swimming, you'll be able to find the clay really easily. Other times it's you have to go on the scavenger hunt. Got a little sidetracked there, kept chopping when I should have stopped. Oh man, I gotta eat. Like I was just telling you guys about, we gotta make sure we keep an eye on our food and our water situation. And here I am just walking around. I'm almost starved. I'm dehydrated. Okay, that's good. Alrighty. Seems a little bit later than that, but I'm good now. I got my water up, my food up. When you first start with collecting and harvesting, you're going to have to hit the trees like at least 6 times before they fall. I'm down to hitting them only 4 times before they are cut through. It's all on your skills. My physical is still going up. Cooking and hunting, I gotta get up. But it's only day. I'm sure by the 1 year mark, I've never actually played it out to play out for an entire year. Um, I I'm just curious on if it can actually you can play the game that long and have it sustain you. And I'm talking a year of game time, not an actual year of 360 live action days. Bats! Bats! Who wants bats? Well, that's interesting. I guess there's a first time for everything. Never had a tree still stand after I've chopped it down. If you notice, these plants are still standing, but yes, these are for fiber. If you notice, if we go back to my home base, I have a garden going where I have those planted. I wish you could grow I could figure out a way how to have a infinite rock glitch. So as we're playing, or as you're watching, what is your opinion of Black Ops 6? Now, I've heard so many people say, I mean, I have my opinion, but I do think it's everybody's right to have their own opinion if they like something or if they don't. I personally don't like the game. The only thing I find good in it is the zombies. What's your guys' opinion? All right. No longer have any trees. What is my time? I am at 22. I am going to take myself a nap and sleep until morning. And then we will save and go on to the next bit of our routine. Give yourselves a little time to grab a sip of soda, water, or coffee, or whatever you may need or be drinking. Little break time session. Alrighty. Oh, I still got... Alright, it is. Get some water. That should do me. Okay, it is almost 7. It does brighten up once the sun comes up, but as you see, Right now the water's kind of murky. When searching for clay, I would suggest that you start at the outer ring. It has to get a little bit lighter out before you can see it. Still need to wait for a little bit. Okay, now it's starting to lighten up. But when looking for clay, I would start around the outer lip of the drop off. Work your way around in a circular motion, going inward every time. Like I said, it's quite honestly a pain in the ass. It's going to take some time. You have to get the timing right for like daylight and stuff like that. But yeah, I start canvassing the area, going around the outside. You will run out of breath. Don't force yourself to stay under too long. If you have to come up for breath, do it. Not worth dying if you have a full load and you haven't saved. Because I don't know how many times I have done that. You know, tried to be the big man with the big boy pants on, and I stayed under way too long and I drowned. And then I'm sitting here raging and screaming at the TV like an idiot. Oh, you stupid mother... Yeah. Not fun when you lose like 30 minutes worth of hard work. Our first clay outcrop. So, if you notice, it's in pretty deep water. So, get yourself your pick. And you want to try to make this as quick as possible because you're going to be holding your breath the whole time. If you notice, I did not sit down there and try to get all the stuff that was coming off. Now, collect what you need. Clay will roll around and you will lose areas. See, you should get roughly 6 lumps of clay per outcrop. Like I said, my harvesting is a lot more quicker than when you first start out. So don't rush going for clay too early, because it's just going to lead up to you not being able to hold your breath or something like that as long as I can, or you not being able to harvest it quick enough. Make sure you have your physical and your collecting up. My little Pipple's all interested in what I'm doing. Hey, Daddy, what are you doing? Playing a game, like usual. That's a nice find. You can build a regular wooden mallet, but it's nowhere near as good as those. Always take time to check out areas. See, I thought I actually got all the boats already, and obviously I didn't. That is the one thing I do stress is definitely make sure you canvas all of your areas thoroughly. You never know what you're going to miss. Sometimes, which is a bad situation, you'll get the clay outcrops like here, and the clay will fall. Yeah. If you have a couple air bottles, you can make it down and collect any, whoa, that was close, any clay that you might have dropped. But for the ones right on the edge like that, it's probably going to tick you off more than what it would if you just didn't go for it. And again, thought I covered everything. Didn't. Nice little surprise. just to show you some of the difficulties holding your breath while trying to get down into these areas. You can die very easily. That's exactly what I mean. I almost did it there. But now that I'm kind of at least I got something out of there. That's always a good thing. They like to hide boxes in a lot of weird areas. Again, more stuff I did not catch. It always seems like if you'll find more stuff every time you look. The way you grab stuff is you hold down L2 as you click on it. You got to hold it down though to carry it. You can throw it a short distance. They kind of nerfed that down though, because there was a time when you could actually throw it for a decent distance. Like I could throw it from here to where those barrels are now before. But now it's just a little measly toss. But yeah, the clay is actually kind of hard to get. It's already starting to get laid out. So when you're going for clay, it's going to be, several, probably at least if you're going straight at it nonstop and able to clear the island, probably like at least an hour in the water going around and trying to find everything that you need. I try to keep everything separated as far as building supplies. Let's see what we got in here. Junk. But yeah, it might be. I'm not going to lie. There's going to be some times when the action in my play is going to be a little bit more active. Right now, it's a slow point because it's the wind down of an island. In my next episode, you will be seeing a lot more action because I will be probably hitting a new island after this. From start to finish, you're going to see exactly all my steps of how I do and gather everything and collect everything I need. But on that said, I am going to grab my clay and I am going to head back over to my home base and start building my oven or my furnace and my brick station. So until next time, I will see you then. Actually, you know what? I'm going to save real quick. Let's see what time. Yeah, I'll save. And I will catch you the next time.